This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Topping our news today at noon, more details are emerging in an animal abuse case in Manatee County. And as ABC 7's Rebecca Vargas explains, Animal Services has more than doubled its capacity because of it. Rebecca?
Yeah, Scott, court documents are revealing evidence that the dogs were bred for fighting. 45 dogs were seized from a home in Bradenton and also one home in Palmetto on the 14th, overwhelming Manatee County Animal Services in the last few weeks and putting the shelter at 184 dogs in total when their normal capacity is 80. Court documents detail that the Manatee County Sheriff's Office found the 45 pit bulls after a warrant was issued in search for any dogs or other evidence believed to be in use in dog fighting and/or gambling. A female pit bull was found to have her teeth filed down, and a number of dogs seized were malnourished with injuries, including scars and tumors. Authorities also found remains of dead dogs in the home. The animals are being cared for at Animal Services in Palmetto, but agencies, including the Humane Societies of Manatee and Sarasota County, are already coming in to help.
We have a plan in place in terms of, we utilize some of the longer runs, we cut them in half. So we make do with what we have, but we still want to make sure like these animals get walked every day and that they're really spending some time and keep them socialized while they're here with us.
And now, as the Manatee County Sheriff's Office continues their investigation, Animal Services is encouraging anyone who would like to adopt to visit them in their location in Palmetto. Scott, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Rebecca. A mobile home community is the target of robbers. 4 sheds and 3 vehicles were burglarized overnight at Royal Gardens Estates in Bradenton. Deputies say a variety of items were stolen at the Royal Gardens Estates. News of the burglary has residents there on high alert. They say this isn't the first time the park has been burglarized.
We really had the big stuff was probably about 3 years ago. They stole out of both parks here. I know half a dozen golf carts that never were returned. It's a daggone shame, and generally it's kids.
This is an ongoing investigation, and so far no arrests have been made. A would-be robber armed with a baseball bat is taken by surprise in Northport. Police say 33-year-old Noah Desat of Santa Cruz, California, barged into a home off Price Boulevard swinging a baseball bat last week. But when he got inside, a man put him in a bear hug while his wife grabbed the bat and beat him. Desat managed to get away, but authorities caught up with him after they say he used a fake name while being treated for injuries at a hospital.
I just saw the picture of the intruder. I'm like, holy cow. That really brings it home. Mm-hmm. But you do what you have to do. I mean, they're protecting their children and themselves.
Desat is now recovering from his injuries in the Charlotte County Jail. The results are in from Sarasota County's crackdown on boaters drinking on local waterways. The Sheriff's Office Marine Patrol deputies made 25 stops to conduct safety checks during a 3-day Operation Dry Water campaign this past weekend. 32 safety warnings and 2 citations were issued. 1 boater was arrested for boating under the influence after they were found to be nearly 3 times over the legal limit. Deputies and other law enforcement agencies will continue to keep an eye on the waters during the 4th of July weekend, which is upcoming, and all the activities surrounding the big offshore races in the Gulf of Mexico. We're all, of course, hoping for good weather for that, but here to tell us more, Wendy Ross in for John today, and beautiful morning.
It really was. Yeah. It was a very nice one. It's very pretty outside.
Yeah.
There's a certain nice quality about that, but it's still very warm. It's still very sticky. And this morning was no exception. We saw our temperatures in the upper 70s, but now we've approached and hit 90 degrees. So many locations right around that 90-degree mark right now. And as you can see, we've got high humidity levels taking place around the region at this hour. Temperatures are mostly in the 80s with just a few 90s right now, so everyone is feeling the heat, and there isn't any rain to talk about. The showers are located offshore right now with no rain onshore, so we're not likely to see, well, I say that, but we do have a couple of showers that have developed east of I-75, and that's what I'm talking about, is that those rains will continue to produce even some thunderstorms coming in out of that, but most of that activity is moving off towards the east, and that's where we're going to see most of the rain showers throughout the afternoon hours, is east of I-75, continuing to move eastward.
All right, Wendy, thank you. A Manatee County bridge is in need of replacement, but the money to pay for it still needs to be found. Sarasota Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization wants to replace the DeSoto Bridge, which spans the Manatee River between Palmetto and Bradenton. The organization is adding the bridge replacement to its list of regional project priorities. While the MPO believes the bridge is still safe for travel, it is at the end of its service life. An attorney is appealing a decision to move Glazer Gates Park in Bradenton. 2 months ago, a judge dismissed a lawsuit trying to prevent the park's relocation. Developers want to move the park to make way for a new apartment complex. But nearby residents against it say Glazer Gates has historical significance and is the focus of an important archaeological site. The attorney has 75 days now to file a brief and wait for a response from the developer's attorney, and from there, the case could go before a 3-judge appeals panel. Bradenton's Riverwalk splash pad is closed once again today. The company that installed the splash pad will be at Riverwalk today to repair damage caused by cracks in the material. The city says it's working on a permanent solution to keep the splash pad operational. This is the second time in 2 months the pad has had to be closed to repair damage. The pad is expected, though, to reopen sometime tomorrow. Let's get over to the kitchen now, where our good friend and guest chef, JR, joins us today from JR's Old Packing House Cafe in Sarasota. Now, Chef, we've all heard about the damage caused by the fire behind your restaurant there. You plan to open later this summer, right?
Hopefully within the next 3 months. But we would just want to thank all the first responders, fire department, sheriff's department, Red Cross, amazing people, and they saved the building part, so that's amazing. Everything else is destroyed. So we're in the stage of redoing all that, but it still hasn't been cleared, so there's lots to do there on that realm. So, but thank you for the community response. It's been amazing.
And Chef, what are you going to fix for us today?
We're making shrimp cakes today. So we're cooking the shrimp, the celery, peppers, onions, the shrimp in the broth. Then later on, we're going to mix it all up and make some cakes with some breadcrumbs and some eggs. And we're going to cook up some stuff here in a minute.
That sounds delicious. We'll see you in a little bit, Chef. Thank you.
Stand out in your new wild Lexus. Lease a new 2016 Lexus ES350 for only $329 or enjoy 0.9% APR. Just $329 exclusively at Wild Lexus of Sarasota on Clark Road.
Music on Main at Lakewood Ranch. If you haven't been, come on out and see what you've been missing. The first Friday of every month, you can enjoy a free concert, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Catch up with friends, enjoy free activities for the kids, or make it date night. Whatever your pleasure, there's something for everyone at Music on Main, the first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by these sponsors at ABC7. Have you ever wondered what it's like to save a life? Find out by donating platelets at Suncoast Blood Bank.
I'm Haley Wilgus, ABC7. Platelets aid in the clotting process and are vital in the treatment of cancer and surgical patients, trauma victims, and critically ill newborns. It's tough to keep enough on the shelves because they only last 5 days. To donate, call this number or visit scbb.org and you can help save a life.
ABC7 congratulates Suncoast Blood Bank on 65 years of serving our community. The official Suncoast Storm team at ABC7. We're here for you. This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Florida Leather Gallery.
Money raised during the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival allows Suncoast Charities for Children to provide annual grants to the Suncoast Foundation. Since the festival began, more than $20 million in facilities have been built by the Suncoast Foundation across the area, benefiting Community Haven, Children First, Sarasota County Special Olympics, and the Florida Center for Early Childhood.
Florida Leather Gallery is celebrating the 4th of July with spectacular savings. Take 33% off hundreds of styles. Experience freedom of choice with a wide and wonderful assortment of leathers. Freedom from worry with our impressive collection of protected leathers. And freedom from guilt as we proudly offer the lowest price guaranteed. Plus, free delivery. It's all happening right now. Come celebrate with our Lexperts at our 6 Florida Leather Galleries.
Stand out in your new wild Lexus. Lease the bold new 2016 Lexus RX 350 for only $419, or enjoy 1.9% APR, just $419. Exclusively at Wild Lexus of Sarasota on Clark Road.
We are looking at temperatures that have already hit 90 degrees across the region. You knew it was hot when you walked outside today, and of course, no surprises here. So we are looking at humidity levels, dew point levels, just starting to stay on the moderate side, and those winds coming in out of the west at around 9 miles per hour. Now, around the state, we have plenty of places reporting temperatures in the 90s, from Tallahassee all the way over to Jacksonville, down through Gainesville, down to the central and southern parts of the state. We are seeing places that are reporting 90s, and we are too. So we've got a couple of places doing that in Sarasota, Lake Placid right now. Otherwise, everyone else is reporting temperatures in the 80s at this point. So it certainly feels like a summer day. Now, yesterday, if you recall, we had just a couple of showers that developed east of I-75, and most of the rains were on the light side, but we had pockets of very heavy showers and thunderstorms, and that's what we're going to be seeing throughout the day today. Already, we're starting to see the showers developing over Charlotte County, but for the most part, the rains are developing east of I-75 and then moving on towards the east, and that's what's going to continue to happen throughout the rest of this afternoon. It's only been very recently that we've just started to see these showers forming around northern Charlotte County, portions of Sarasota County, and then moving off towards the east right now. And again, some isolated pockets of heavier showers. Otherwise, we're seeing just some light rains that have just started to form, and we're going to continue to see this pattern developing for the rest of this afternoon. We have high pressure that's sitting out in the Gulf of Mexico. That high pressure system is going to be sinking down to the south. That's going to provide us with a better chance of rain beginning on Thursday. But for today and tomorrow, our rain chances are going to stay right around 30%. We've got a low pressure system moving along this frontal band, which is going to stall out across the southeastern part of the country, but it will also help to set up some showers that we're going to be seeing over the northern part of the state, extending into the Gulf and into the Atlantic. So for us today, our rain chances will stay on the low side. We have a 30% chance of inland showers forming, and that's already taking place for some locations. And of course, our highs are expected to be right around that 90-degree mark. And as you can see from our model for the future, we're going to be getting some very scattered showers moving into the central part of the state later on today and into the nighttime hours. And then tomorrow, we start to see that band of rain coming in across the northern sections of Florida. Other showers will start to develop along the west coast and then move off towards the east. And then on Thursday, we're going to start to see a better chance for rainfall with about a 40% chance of rain. In the meantime, as far as the tropics are concerned, we're just seeing a couple of clouds, but nothing that is showing any signs of development. All of the cloud cover that we're getting out in the Caribbean is actually moving over land. So once it moves over land, there's really no potential for any development. So we're not seeing anything there. And across the northern Gulf of Mexico, we're just seeing a few clouds, but there's nothing that's showing any form of development at this point. So for boaters today, winds will be out of the south, shift around to the west during the afternoon hours, 5 to 10 knots, and then 1 to 2 foot seas with a light chop out on the bay and inland waters. The Gulf water temperature has warmed up to 86 degrees, and the actual temperature at the beach is 88 degrees. So this morning we saw our temperatures in the 70s. It was not too terrible. It was still warm out there. And then in the afternoon hours, we're looking at temperature highs in the 90s, and we're going to continue to see the same type of pattern for tomorrow. We up those chances for rain beginning on Thursday and straight on through to the weekend and the holiday on Monday. Scott?
All right, Wendy, thank you. In health news, the American Academy of Pediatrics is increasing its efforts to protect kids from lead poisoning. It's calling on the government now to fund programs to get lead out of homes, soil, and water. The water crisis in Flint, Michigan brought renewed attention to the danger. Thousands of children there were exposed to contaminated water in the city. Lead poisoning is linked to declines in intelligence and problems with attention and behavior. The toxic metal can be found in toys and some imported candies, even jewelry. The Academy says there should not be a legal allowable limit in place for the metal because there's no safe level of blood lead concentrations. Starting next month, the Florida health officials in Sarasota County will be providing free and low-cost public health services. The health and motion services will include flu shots, blood pressure checks, diabetes screenings, and HIV and STD testings. You can also get referrals to Tobacco-Free Florida's 3 Ways to Quit resources. No appointments are needed. The test will be inside the buildings of various facilities throughout Sarasota County through August. The first one will be this Friday at Goodwill, Minnesota in Northport. You can find a full list of locations on our website. Just go to mysuncoast.com. Packing the whole family into the car for a summer road trip can be fun until someone gets motion sickness. But doctors say the choices you make when traveling can help to lessen your chances of feeling ill. For example, sitting in the back seat, reading or playing video games can make you get sick, as well as strong odors like smoke or strong perfumes. Instead, doctors suggest sitting in the front seat if possible. Also, if you know you're prone to motion sickness or if you have a child who's prone to it, there are additional steps you can take to help prevent getting ill on the road.
Hydrating well, not smoking, good ventilation will help. If it's stuffy or hot, you will typically feel worse, so making sure there's good air conditioning and good ventilation will help.
Another suggestion for kids is sitting them in the middle of the back seat so that they can see out the front window instead of the side window, which can help alleviate the view of constant motion. Motion sickness can occur with any mode of travel, whether it's by boat, plane, train, bus, or car. Still to come in your Suncoast News, after a lengthy investigation, the final Benghazi report is released, where one presidential candidate stands on it. And the sports world loses 2 towering figures on the same day. We'll look back at the legacies of Buddy Ryan and Pat Summitt. That's next.
Thanks to my volunteer, I am a better reader.
Thanks to my volunteer, math seems simple now.
Thanks to my volunteer, I discovered new career goals.
I'm a volunteer for Sarasota County Schools, so I know I can make a difference. And you can too. Give an hour, change a life.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. There's a new way you can reduce your risk of heart attack, and it could be found right on your dinner plate.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, we'll show you how fish can help boost your heart health. Wendy?
And our rain chances are going to stay low for just one more day, but the temperature, that's high.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you. The all-new official Suncoast forecast, only on ABC7.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Looking for carpet? Look no further. Minnesota Flooring has Smart Strand carpet as low as $1.79 per square foot. Installed, no add-ons or extras. Unbelievable? Minnesota Flooring can have in-stock carpet installed in your home in 48 hours for as low as $1.99 per square foot. Don't miss these prices. Visit Minnesota Flooring today.
This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Sarasota Ford.
Powerboat P1 Marine Foundation, and Suncoast Charities for Children invite you to Share the Beach. In an effort to protect local wildlife during Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival, beachgoers should wait until sunrise to set up on the beach race weekend due to turtle nesting. And if you see a manatee, give them the right of way and don't touch them. Together, we can all enjoy the races and share the beach.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, because Sarasota Ford guarantees you our lowest price on every new Ford every day. Save on America's best-selling truck, 39 years running, the Ford F-150. Fusions, Escapes, over 800 vehicles on-site or online, all on sale. Buy with 0% for 60 months. And now, get up to 2,000 trade assistance. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Another pro golfer is skipping the Summer Olympics. Jason Day will not be attending the Rio Games because of fears of the Zika virus. 28-year-old Australian says while the risk is slight, it's not one he's willing to take because he plans to have more children. The mosquito-borne virus has been linked to severe birth defects. Day is the 5th top golfer to cite Zika for not going to Rio. The mastermind of 2 Super Bowl defenses has passed away. Former NFL coach Buddy Ryan was 82. He coached in the NFL for 28 seasons, is best known for building some of football's top defenses. He was on the defensive staff of the Super Bowl winning New York Jets and the Chicago Bears, where he led the defense, and later was head coach of both the Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. Ryan was suffering from the aftermath of a stroke and was battling cancer. And Pat Summitt, winner of 8 national titles at Tennessee, died today at the age of 64. She started a trailblazing career that put women's basketball and even women's sports on the map. Here to tell us more about her legacy is ABC 7's Don Brennan, just a giant in her sport.
Yeah, I mean, Scott, she not only set records, but she totally changed the face of sports and also touched so many lives, inspiring players and fans alike. And she had a look that could freeze you, but a heart that could melt you.
But you're the ones that have to get it done, and you better make it happen starting right now.
Pat Summitt was a pioneer, a game changer. Few made as great an impact.
God, what are you doing?
The head coach at Tennessee for nearly 40 years, she changed the way women's sports are coached, played, and perceived. Perhaps more than anything else, she convinced generations of girls that the playground belonged to them, too. Summitt took the reins at Tennessee at the age of 22. By age 34, she won her first national title.
Tennessee has won the national championship.
Beyond the titles, Summitt was known for her fiery halftime speeches.
People that want a championship, stand up and go get it.
And of course, the icy stare.
Get over here!
The crystal blue eyes are just looking right through you.
With Summitt in charge, Tennessee won 8 national championships, and she amassed 1,098 wins, the most ever for a coach in Division I in the men's or women's games.
Well, it's a hard number to even comprehend.
You can probably trace the rise of the women's game with the rise of her basketball programs.
But then in August 2011,
Pat Summitt has been diagnosed with early onset dementia.
I hate to say, why me? And then I just said, well, forget this. Let's go battle it.
After she stepped down, she was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It was a tribute not only to her victories on the court, but also to her role elevating and advancing women's sports.
She changed the face of all sports, not just women's sports.
Tennessee was the IT program, as you and I both know, before UConn. I mean, UConn came on the scene. Everybody talks about that now, but Pat Summitt and Tennessee set the tone for everybody, and then that rivalry became brought college basketball, as far as women are concerned, even more to the forefront because it was so high profile and so aggressive. Now, her son Tyler said that he will hold a public celebration of her life at one of her favorite places. That's the Thompson Bowling Arena on the University of Tennessee campus, and the otherwise can be private. It was like you and I talked about, for such a sharp mind and such a sharp person to see her mind deteriorate so fast it's just so sad. It's numbing.
It's a devastating disease. Yeah, it really is. All right, Don, thank you so much. Let's get back to the kitchen now. Chef JR from JR's Old Packing House Cafe is with Wendy. Hey, guys.
Hello. And Scott, I've been talking with JR, and JR, you've gone through something that none of us ever could imagine, and that is that you have gone through a real challenge very recently. But you were telling me just now that the community has been tremendously behind you. Tell us some of the things that you've been experiencing.
The Firefighters Benevolent Society is going to have a fundraiser at the Beach Club, and they've informed me that they're going to donate their funds to us. That's just unbelievable. I've had family, staff, friends, guests, the community in general do amazing things above and beyond what I'd ever expect. The GoFundMe page, I never expected that. The neighbors, the gentleman that owns Kimball Lumber, the gentleman that Gold Coast Eagle, other restaurant owners, Swordfish Grill, Yoder's, Libby's, Cock and Bull. Cock and Bull's going to have a fundraiser for us. I mean, we're next door to each other. We're neighbors. The neighbors directly next to us, the pool store, Knott's Automotive, Detweiler's, yeah, I'm over there every day, but the Shell station. So everybody's really pulling together as a community. Very, very, very thankful for everything, and everybody's been so generous. And
for those of you who may not know, JR had owns the Packing House restaurant, and that restaurant caught fire, and it was demolished. It was just completely demolished. And so right now, the building is not serviceable. You can't really operate your restaurant there. And all of the people from that you're mentioning here have come together and have recognized your plight, and they want to help you because you're a giving, kind person, and they recognize that. So that's important to know.
I appreciate that. However, I didn't, that kind of community response I would never thought. I'm just a little restaurant, nowhere near anything, you know, I'm just.
But it's pretty wonderful. It's pretty wonderful.
Pretty
Well, we're glad you're here. We're glad you didn't get hurt. That's very important.
Everybody's safe, everybody was fine. It's all beautiful things.
And you told me that one item did get saved.
Oh, this
in the
was
fire.
in my room. I had the back of the restaurant, there's an office, and then there's what women who call their man cave, guys call their man cave. In that room that's now timbers. I mean, the roof has been demolished, the walls are all burnt, everything's charcoal. This particular book, I don't know if you might recognize it.
It's the Bible.
It's the Bible, and all it has is some water damage.
Isn't that amazing? So that actually came out without being burned at all. It came out in one piece.
But yes, but on top of that, everything around it's on fire. One book. I mean, this book. I mean, a whole room full of stuff. There's my Star Wars stuff, there's my recliner, there's my TV set, all burnt to the ground, done. All of my books and tapes and all this other stuff gone in charcoal form. This book was sitting as you walk in right there. This is the wall, this is all burnt, the roof is collapsed, the whole room's on fire. This book saved it. That's the only thing,
That's the only thing you could take out of the restaurant.
That's
We're going to move on. We're going to move on. That is pretty special.
Bad.
No, you are going to have to just tell us. We may not have time to put it all together, but you are actually putting together
I made shrimp cakes this morning at the house.
Okay, shrimp cakes.
So I don't like a lot of breadcrumbs, so there's not a lot of breadcrumbs. This is how it looks before you cook it. You can add more breadcrumbs if you really like. I'm not in all that. So this is what you do: is you take your onions and your celery and your peppers. I like colorful peppers. So I like red, yellow, green. I like it to look pretty. So if it looks pretty, it'll taste pretty. You know, it'll taste good. And then you just season as you go, because believe it or not, not everybody likes sodium. So I might like it spicier, so I might add some more heat, or add a jalapeno, for instance. You might not. So if you're cooking for someone, you need to know that. Hey, easy on the spices. So I just try to make it more or less medium, what people would consider medium.
And then you're going to put it all together
in a cake.
You
put it all together, and you just take some breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, and
this is what you end up with. And you're serving it with a sauce. It's a what type of sauce?
This is just mayonnaise and shiraki sauce, and you just put a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more seasoning, fresh lemon juice, and then you just pour that on a plate, and there you go.
Isn't that wonderful? And I just want to remind everybody, you can always go to The Dish, which is on our mysuncoast.com page, and go to The Dish, and you'll be able to find this wonderful recipe. JR is a bit overwhelmed right now with the gratitude that he has for this incredible community we live in, and we want to thank all of you for everything that you've done for him. And we'll be right back.
Hurricane season is here, and Suncoast weather can go from this to this in seconds. So when severe weather threatens, count on the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7.
We're armed with the most advanced weather technology so that we can bring you storm warnings faster and with more detail than ever before.
Plus, we focus on the Suncoast and track storms right down to your neighborhood.
On air, online, and on your mobile device. Turn to the official Suncoast Storm Team at ABC7. We're here for you. Don't miss the 32nd annual Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival, June 25th through July 4th. This year's festival features a kickoff party at the Sarasota Yacht Club, Boats on Main block party, 2 days of aquacross and powerboat racing off Lido Beach, bayfront fireworks, and so much more. Produced by and benefiting Suncoast Charities for Children. For festival info and VIP race day viewing tickets, visit SarasotaPowerboatGrandPrix.org. This Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Minute is brought to you by Florida Leather Gallery.
Money raised during the Sarasota Powerboat Grand Prix Festival allows Suncoast Charities for Children to provide annual grants to the Suncoast Foundation. Since the festival began, more than $20 million in facilities have been built by the Suncoast Foundation across the area, benefiting Community Haven, Children First, Sarasota County Special Olympics, and the Florida Center for Early Childhood.
Florida Leather Gallery is celebrating the 4th of July with spectacular savings. Take 33% off hundreds of styles. Experience freedom of choice with a wide and wonderful assortment of leathers. Freedom from worry with our impressive collection of protected leathers. And freedom from guilt as we proudly offer the lowest price guaranteed. Plus, free delivery. It's all happening right now. Come celebrate with our Lexperts at our 6 Florida Leather Galleries.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Discover the biggest savings of the year on some of America's favorite vehicles during the Drive and Discover event going on now at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Get America's best value, a new Grand Caravan for just $18,999 or a new Dodge Journey for just $16,999. Stop by today to shop the area's biggest selection of Ram trucks and save up to $8,000 on your new Ram. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Welcome back. Despite a victory in the Supreme Court, abortion activists say it could take years for some of the 20-plus clinics shut down by restrictions in Texas to reopen. Texas had 41 abortion facilities in 2013 when the Republican-controlled legislature approved the law. Today, it has 19. The High Court ruled the law created an undue burden that violates the right to an abortion. But activists say a win does not mean the struggle is over.
Clinics don't reopen overnight. We have a daunting task ahead of us to determine whether and how to reopen our health centers that were forced to shut their doors over the past several years. Renewing leases, hiring staff, and working with the communities that we've previously served to help us reopen for care.
The ruling is considered to be the most significant decision from the Supreme Court on abortion in more than 2 decades. Congressional Republicans have just released an 800-page report on the Benghazi attacks that was years in the making. It's an incident that's undergone a dozen investigations to date. Trey Gowdy, the House Republican who led the investigation into the 2012 attacks that killed 4 Americans, including U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens, releasing an 800-page report.
Nothing could have reached Benghazi because nothing was ever headed to Benghazi.
It includes interviews with 80 new witnesses and concludes the Obama administration and the military are to blame for what it says was a slow response.
Washington had access to real-time information, but that real-time information did not inform and instruct the decisions made in Washington.
It also focuses on the fact that the administration initially blamed the attack on an anti-Muslim video, some members taking specific aim at former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
Publicly telling the American people it was a video-inspired protest, privately telling the truth that it was a terrorist attack.
This is a Republican conspiracy theory in search of a conspiracy.
The Clinton campaign said this report, which took 2 years and cost $7 million, was politicizing the deaths of those 4 Americans. Democrats have long said its goal was to undermine the former Secretary of State's presidential bid.
This is a committee that has gone on longer than the 9/11 Commission, than the committee designated to look at Pearl Harbor, the assassination of President Kennedy, the Iran-Contra affair, and Watergate.
Former Secretary Clinton is actually mentioned less in this report than a separate report released by Democrats. However, 2 Republicans are releasing their own addendum taking aim at Clinton. Hillary Clinton is on the campaign trail with Elizabeth Warren again, the Massachusetts senator among the names being formally vetted as a possible Clinton running mate. At a rally yesterday, Warren wasted no time attacking Donald Trump and explaining to the crowd why Clinton is their best ticket for the White House.
She
She knows what it takes to beat a thin-skinned bully who is driven by greed and hate. She gets up and keeps right on fighting for the people who need her most.
Responding to the comments, Donald Trump called Warren a sellout and a turncoat. In the meantime, he's on the verge of shifting one of his most controversial proposals on his campaign, the ban on Muslims. Aides are signaling he may be preparing to roll back that policy as he faces some very tough poll numbers recently. Wall Street is looking up for the first time since the bombshell Brexit vote in Great Britain. Stocks opened today up more than 150 points on the Dow. It's a triumph after tumbling nearly 5.5% in just 2 days. But traders are still cautious, keeping a close eye on the developments overseas. Questions remain on Britain's exit plan from the EU, which still needs to be mapped out. Uncertainties on that plan have investors and business owners everywhere nervous, especially here in Florida, where British travelers make up about 15% of the state's tourism market.
What we can hope is that by the time we get to next January, their big booking season, some of this will have settled down and that consumer confidence will be rebounding, and that is our hope.
In addition to tourism, investors say this could continue to affect companies, jobs, and markets here in the U.S. for as long as the uncertainty in Europe lasts. British Prime Minister David Cameron is now in Brussels meeting with European leaders. He's certain Brexit will stand despite some 4 million people signing a petition for a revote. Another unforeseen consequence of Brexit, the EU could lose English as one of its official languages once the UK leaves and the language loses its sponsor. English is one of the 3 working languages of the EU. It could remain a working language even if it were no longer an official one, but that would require an agreement by all member states. Flight data recorders from Egypt Air Flight 804 have been repaired. Investigators were able to fix the data and cockpit voice recorders. With those repairs done, investigators hope to solve the mystery of what caused that plane to crash into the Mediterranean Sea last month. The flight was heading to Cairo from Paris with 66 people on board. Education for girls is the central theme of the First Lady's trip to Africa. First Lady Michelle Obama is in Morocco today promoting education. Yesterday, she kicked off her 3-nation tour for her Let Girls Learn campaign. It's a global effort urging girls to keep fighting to stay in school. Morocco is one of the poorest ranked regions in North Africa for literacy. Sasha and Malia are joining their mother on the trip. They were in Liberia yesterday. Their next stop will be in Spain. Got another check on our weather here on the Sun Coast with Wendy Ross, who's in for John today, and it's just another hot summer day with some showers popping up.
But some showers popping up a little bit earlier than they were yesterday. So, and some of them are also strong. Yesterday we had pretty much the same thing that we're seeing today, and we are getting a couple of these showers developing east of I-75 and isolated showers and some thunderstorms as well. But right now it's 90 degrees at the airport, and you can see those winds are coming in right off the Gulf of Mexico. Across the region we have a couple of places that are now approaching 90 degrees just in a very short period of time. Several places now seeing temperatures in the 90s, and we are getting a few showers, but most of the rain is concentrated east of I-75. Some lighter rains taking place. Now we're starting to see some showers around Bradenton, so we're starting to see more widespread activity, but most of this is moving off towards the east right now, and within these showers that you're seeing, we're seeing some embedded heavier rains as everything continues to move away. So for the rest of this afternoon, expect to see about a 20 to 30% chance of rain all the way till 6 o'clock tonight.
All right, Wendy, thank you. A preliminary hearing today will lay out ground rules over whether 911 calls from the mass shooting at an Orlando nightclub can be made public. A media lawsuit contends city officials are wrongly withholding recordings of 911 calls and communications between the gunman and Orlando police. The gunman was killed by police after the June 12th standoff that left 49 people dead, 53 hurt. Officials claim the recordings are exempt under Florida law. But media outlets involved, including the Associated Press, CNN, and the New York Times, feel otherwise. Also in Orlando, city officials are working to preserve items from several memorials that are honoring those victims of the massacre. About 200 items have already been collected. They'll be moved to a permanent home at the Orange County Regional History Center. The mayor of Orange County says the items represent Orlando's resilience.
This is the uplifting part. This is the unity. This is a community coming together and caring. This is a very important part of the story that we want to share with this generation, the next generation, and generations to come.
Flowers at the memorials will be turned into compost and used in gardens throughout Orlando. Volkswagen has agreed to pay billions of dollars to settle an emissions scheme. The company is paying $14.7 billion to settle claims over its diesel vehicles, which admits it rigged to pass emissions tests. The agreement covers actions by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and California's Air Resources Board. The settlement includes buybacks and payments of up to $10,000 for each vehicle to owners, as well as nearly $3 billion in fines and another $2 billion for research on zero emissions technology. The settlement is expected to be filed in court today. IKEA is pulling back tens of millions of its dressers, warning they could tip over and even kill a small child if not properly secured. The dressers have been blamed for the deaths of 3 children so far. A repair program was put in place from 2 of those deaths. IKEA says its dressers should all be anchored to the wall and has been offering repair kits for older units, but admits those dressers did not meet standards. At least 29 million have been recalled. The company is offering full refunds to customers under terms of this recall. And Chipotle is offering a temporary loyalty program in hopes of drawing customers back into stores following a series of food scares. The Chiptopia loyalty program will reward people based on the number of times they visit each month. It starts in July and runs through September. Coming up, Wendy will be back with another look at our forecast. Plus, we'll show you where you can find the world's oldest living golf pro. He's right here on the Suncoast. That story coming up in a place we call home.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
We are all watching the stock market after the Brexit backlash. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, our financial advisor will be here to help answer the most commonly asked questions about keeping our investments intact. We'll get updates on Suncoast development projects from the trends experts, and we'll do some crafting with sea glass. It's called the ocean's most overlooked treasure, plus Mosaic is in the kitchen.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
At ABC7, our entire weathercast is dedicated to the Suncoast, and now we bring it to you like never before with the all-new official Suncoast forecast. Beach and boating forecast. The winds will be out of the northwest at 10 knots.
Now, with the most advanced graphics and technology, we bring you weather where you live, pinpointing right down to your neighborhood.
Zooming into the Sarasota Bayfront.
The all-new official Suncoast forecast, only on ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. ABC7's Pump Patrol, a list of the Suncoast's cheapest gas on mysuncoast.com.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, it's all about getting more for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. Stop by to see our new state-of-the-art showroom today, and you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet, a new 2016 Subaru Forester, for just $229 a month. Complimentary maintenance included at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
The ability to go to college on a Bright Future Scholarship gave me personally the flexibility to chase a dream. To not have to worry about paying for your college education was absolutely amazing. One step better than that was to leave with no loans. I mean, to start a life, to start a job, to start without having a debt was amazing, and it allowed me to get to where I'm at today.
We are looking at temperatures that are at 90 degrees right now at the airport, and we do have high dew points, so you know it's going to rain later on this afternoon, but the chances for rain are really quite low for our area, about a 30% chance for the rest of the afternoon. Our humidity now at 57%, and the winds are coming in right off the Gulf of Mexico. Many, many locations now reporting temperatures in the 90s. Central and South Florida are still seeing several places reporting temperatures in the 80s, and our viewing area has the coolest readings on Anna Maria and Longboat Key, but as soon as you hit land, we're looking at temperatures in the upper 80s and 90s just about everywhere you go. We've seen a couple of showers also developing just to the south around the Charlotte County area. 85 degrees in Englewood is one of the cooler spots around the region. And we had plenty of rainfall yesterday taking place east of I-75 in pockets. Some heavier showers and thunderstorms did fall. So as a result, we saw some impressive rainfall amounts, but every place else saw very little in the way of rainfall. And right now we're starting to see a few more showers developing. You'll notice there's not a whole lot in the way of wet weather right now around the state, but close to home we are getting a couple of showers right here. They are coming in right near the interstate, and then we've had some showers from Englewood on over through Port Charlotte, and these rains are going to continue off towards the north and east. Northport also seeing some moderate rains, and even some thunderstorms are developing right now, so we're going to see a little bit more of this type of activity developing throughout the afternoon. We have a high pressure system out in the Gulf of Mexico, and that high pressure is sinking down to the south. That will allow for more wet weather to develop starting on Thursday. So for today and for tomorrow, it's still going to be on the quiet side. We've got a cold front that's sinking down and will stall out across the southeastern part of the country, and showers will be felt along that frontal band. For our area, we're looking for rain chances to stay around 30%, and that 30% chance of rain will be mostly inland, not so much at the coastline, with highs back up in the 90s. And as you can see, what we're looking at over the next couple of days is those rains will be developing east of I-75. Then where that frontal system is over the northern part of the state, we start to see those showers moving on down, breaking apart as they do so, but other showers will begin to form on Thursday, moving from the east to the west once again. If you're heading on out to the tropics, right now there are no problems. We don't have anything developing, so that's good news. We've got a high pressure area that is helping to keep the activity down. A little bit of cloud cover here in the Caribbean is moving over land, so there's no problem here. And we also have some of the clouds that are being seen here in the Gulf of Mexico, but we don't have any issues as far as any development of any tropical systems right now. For boaters, winds will be out of the south and then west. The seas will range 1 to 2 feet with a light chop out on the bay. The Gulf water temperature is 86 degrees, the air temperature 88 degrees, so you may have to go there to cool off today, especially if you're coming from the east. As you can see, we're looking at the chances for rain to stay right around 30% through Wednesday, and then starting on Thursday, we get back to normal with that 40 to 50% chance of rain, temperatures staying right around that 90-degree mark. Scott?
Thank you. Some believe the first golf course in America was built here by Scottish settlers. And golf course communities are certainly a popular place now to live here on the Sun Coast. ABC 7's Linda Carson has more in our series, A Place We Call Home.
Before the golf course came, this area was sparsely inhabited and had bad roads. What we know as the Palm Air Country Club was originally called DeSoto Lakes Country Club.
And this course was built in, it'll be in 57. I believe the Lakes course, which are a newer course basically on the other side of Whitfield, that's about almost 30 years old now.
The hope was a great golf course would cause a nice residential area to grow up around it. Famous golf course architect Dick Wilson was hired to build the course that won the nickname the Green Monster, and top tournaments, some of the first ever televised nationally, were played here.
The DeSoto Open, which I believe was in 1960, we've got a great plaque in the hallway. Arnold Palmer, Billy Casper, Gary Player, these are the people that played here.
Today, there's some 3,000 homes in Palm Air.
Palm Air is made up of, I believe it's 32 smaller communities, ranging from the older homes, which are 3- and 4-story condominiums, to single houses that still go for $750,000, and everything in between.
The golf course continues to draw national tournaments.
Just this past year, we hosted the Honda Cup. Lady Legends, the gals, I believe they have to be over 45. And that's like a Ryder Cup format. It was the USA against the world. Nancy Lopez was the captain.
The course is still challenging.
Called the Champions Course. It plays to 7,200 yards. That's an extensive length.
But one notable golfer has conquered it.
We have a fellow here who is the oldest living former teaching pro in the world. He's 104 years old. 2 years ago, at the ripe old age of 102, he got his 9th career hole-in-one.
Harrison says life is good here in Palm Air.
It's people just going out to dinner. It's people taking somebody to the airport when they got to go north. And if, God forbid, when somebody has an injury, it's people bringing meals to people. I mean, that's kind of the way our community works here. It's just a terrific place to live.
And the thing that really makes Palm Air a great place to call home, you can own your own golf cart. Linda Carson, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Linda, thank you so much. Well, believe it or not, if you wanted to sing Happy Birthday song in public, you had to pay for it. But thanks to a new court ruling, that's a thing of the past. We'll have all the details next in entertainment news.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7.
We need to take that frustration, the fear, the anxiety, and yes, the anger. And after we have vented it, we need to work together.
As Clinton works to unite the Democratic Party, we find out how her campaign is rallying voters here on the Suncoast. I'm Alan Cohn. We'll have that story plus our roundtable discussion.
Tonight on ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. At ABC7, it's all about being here for you. Introducing ABC7 News at 7 with award-winning investigative journalist Alan Cohn. In-depth reporting and debate on important issues and stories in our community. With a featured topic of the day and a live roundtable discussion with community leaders and newsmakers. Plus a quick recap of the day's top stories and weather. ABC7 News at 7, weeknights. Now more than ever, we're here for you, Suncoast.
We're losing exotic animals on a daily basis, and the ones that we have in captivity are really the ambassadors for their wild counterparts. I'm Clayton Rozier from the Big Cat Habitat and Gulf Coast Sanctuary, housing over 150 exotic animals that needed a great home. And if you love animals, please help them. Do it locally. Support your local no-kill shelters, your local wild animal sanctuaries. Make a difference where you can.
Hurricane season is here, and so is the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. This essential resource arms you with vital information you need to protect your family and property when severe weather threatens the Suncoast, including how to create your readiness plan and survival kit, shelter locations, what to do with pets, and important phone numbers. Visit mysuncoast.com and download the official Suncoast Hurricane Guide from ABC7. Brought to you by the Florida Lottery. Music on Main at Lakewood Ranch. If you haven't been, come on out and see what you've been missing. The first Friday of every month, you can enjoy a free concert, dancing, great food, and lots of fun for every family member, even the furry ones. Catch up with friends, enjoy free activities for the kids, or make it date night. Whatever your pleasure, there's something for everyone at Music on Main. The first Friday of every month at Lakewood Ranch. Brought to you by these sponsors at ABC7.
Hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? ABC7 has the information you need. Access our special Surviving a Hurricane now. Learn how to prepare a readiness plan and survival kit. Know your evacuation route. Be prepared, Suncoast, when severe weather threatens. Access our special on our ABC7 app and all our live streaming platforms.
Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, and
we've been slow smoking over oak for more than 45 years. And while sticking to tried and true traditions is kind of our thing, it doesn't hurt to throw something new in the smoker every now and then. Come get some slow smoked chicken wings at Sonny's Barbecue. Order them as an appetizer or as part of a combo with pork, baby back ribs, or both, starting at $10.99. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Well, you can no longer get into trouble for singing Happy Birthday in public. A judge approving a settlement that will put the song into the public domain, marking the end of the song's ownership by Warner Chappell Music. The company has been collecting royalties on the song for years. Previously, you had to pay a licensing fee to sing Happy Birthday in public. So the company has agreed now to pay back $14 million to those who had paid those fees. They say they didn't try to collect royalties from just anyone singing the song, only those who use it in a commercial enterprise. Speaking of birthdays, the man who played a 2,000-year-old man is 1 year closer to that character. Comedy legend Mel Brooks turning 90 today. Age really hasn't slowed him down. Right now, he's working on a musical version of his film Young Frankenstein. And there are rumors to continue to swirl that a Spaceballs 2 is in the works. Anticipation is building for the Legend of Tarzan movie. Alexander Skarsgård takes over the iconic role. The story is set in the 1800s, and it involves love, greed, revenge, even murder. Actors say the new Tarzan puts a whole new twist on the original story.
The movie's about these lovers that get separated, torn apart in the jungle, and then fighting to get back together. I felt no pressure at all. I was just so excited about finding my own Tarzan.
Samuel L. Jackson is also starring in the film. The Legend of Tarzan swings into theaters on Friday. And before returning to Pandora at the movies, you'll be able to visit the alien world from your smartphone. 20th Century Fox is teaming up with a mobile game company to develop an Avatar adventure multiplayer strategy game. Now, the game's plot will be separate from the films and will allow players to make decisions that will affect the narrative in the game. It'll debut in 2018 before the second Avatar film will hit theaters. The game will be updated as the next 4 sequels are released through the year 2023.
I didn't realize they were even doing a sequel to that. I don't think I realized that. Now you're telling me they're going to do, we're going to be able to see them through 2023.
Yeah, I think they're shooting them consecutively, but I think it's been a long time between the first one and now.
It has been.
Next year, 2
Yeah, it
years
was
from
2010 or something like that when that last one came out.
You loved it. I liked it too.
I loved it. I loved it. Well, I love to go to the theater, especially in the afternoon when it's so hot. It's just a lovely place to go. It's nice and cool, and to see fun movies. What we're looking at right now, of course, and this is the reason I like to escape, Scott, right here. It's 90 degrees outside, so I need to find air conditioning. And the overnight lows, of course, are dropping down into the 70s. We're looking at only a 30% chance of rain through tomorrow, but then just in time for the holiday weekend, we've got our rain chances back up to about a 50% chance.
Okay, we'll deal with it.
Yeah.
Wendy, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful afternoon ahead, and we invite you back at 5 o'clock for more news and weather. See you then.